Hey everyone, and welcome to the Gift of Gab. My name is Tevyn. You may know me as Bobbin Robin. I'll refer to myself on this channel, Bobbin Robin Entertainment. And today with me here on Gift of Gab, first episode, I have Zulynette. She may introduce the rest of who she is in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
So I'm Zulynette. You may call me Zulynette. I am an artist. I am a performing poet, a facilitator, and is cursing okay?
It is!
I'm a full-time badass motherfucker. That's what I do on my days.
All the reasons of why she's here next to me right now. So on the Gift of Gab, we like to speak about, oh, by the way, there will be a revolving cast, so while it's fully fun to get used to our beautiful, sensual, gorgeous faces, they will be changing and alternating because, you know, I have a few friends who are also awesome and we like to all give our pieces and our parts here on the show. Again, Gift of Gab is going to be conversational. We're going to discuss hot, trendy topics as far as being social, as far as social media is concerned, as far as whatever pops up into comments and suggestions after the video. So again, welcome and I hope you enjoy. This first episode, Zulynette and I will be discussing conversation and how to do it better. So, Zulynette, so for example, I did speak to her about also getting over icky grossness because germs and, you know, like how dare nature and biology is horrible. So, excuse the congestion.
I work with the children's and they are
full of the germs. Full of the germs.
To the max. To the max. But nothing will make your immune system stronger than working with youth. Holy hell.
Walk out of the school or whatever establishment like Wonder Woman and you're like,
all I'm saying is I'm definitely ready for the zombie apocalypse.
All you amoebas.
Definitely ready for the zombie apocalypse. Like nothing's gonna bring me down.
So again, today's gonna be conversation as far as electronic conversation. So we'll start off with texting. So to be more specific, we can all communicate better, which I was just telling Zulynette here. Me, myself, I'm not perfect. There are always moments where I can conduct myself better. I can communicate my thoughts and my feelings better. And we have these moments where we just also really don't give a damn. You know, like, you know, I'm gonna send this text real quick because, and then send, and I'm gonna put my phone down after I switch it on vibrate and or silent and just ignore all of the rest of the human race. We all do it, I get it, it's totes fine. But when in the mode of communication or whatever, you gotta do that. You gotta communicate. So, for example, and we've all had this before. Someone starts a conversation with you, and when someone starts a conversation, you would think that, again, gross, I know, I'm sorry, but again, you would think that someone starting a conversation, that person wants to be engaging with, that person wants to discuss something as an inquiry, they want some type of energy from you, and they want to give you something back as well. That's at least, you know, I've been told I expect too much from people. So, I mean, again, comments and suggestions.
Like a response?
Right.
Wow.
Right. Some kind of full response. So then I give that, they might just say, hey. And I go, hey, what's up? Mind you, I added a couple additional words.
Oh, was there a question mark at the end of that?
There was also appropriate punctuation. Appropriate punctuation
is so underrated. When you're like communicating and stuff. Are you exclaiming? Are you yelling at me? Is your sentence done? Is your thought done? Is there a pause in there? Do you want me to respond to this? Do you want me to insert my opinion? Are you just sharing a thinky thought? So many things. So many things.
So on that note, ways that I personally would not recommend starting a conversation. Hey. Hi. Sup. First of all, sup is already part of slang. It's part of what's up, which is slang for what's up, which is short for what if be happening. So you already cutting it short about 4 levels lower when the conversation's already done.
So then for
As
you,
far
is
as
it a
I'm
thing of
concerned.
like extending the words out?
For me, it's a thing of having words. So on that note, full sentences.
Full sentences.
I see it a lot in social media, and I know in social media we have like illy. I say illy because like in high school, what was it? I want to say like 9th and 10th grade. People always say, "Oh, illy Josh, illy Tevyn, and illy this." I'm like, illy. I must be like really ill. I must be really down with the business. I'm really sick with the
so
times.
sick. Which goes back to our immune system. Take care of them because self-love.
But what it really meant was, I love you. And I'm like, well, I thought I've been feeling a lot better about myself all these years if you just fucking wrote it out.
Illy. I've
Illy.
never received illy
Illy.
in person in like verbal communication with a human being. I jokingly say BT dubs all the time,
Right.
like BTW, but I don't really talk in text because LOL, it sounds weird.
And I'll say LOL just to freak people like, yeah, LOL, we're being super sarcastic. LOL. And then just shove off from there. But full sentences, me personally, I know I'm showing someone my energy, and I know I'm showing someone that I'm into communicating. And it doesn't have to be, I'm not trying to marry the person the next day. I'm not trying to get them to sell their home to like my cousin. There's no deep intention behind any of this.
Yeah.
It's really just communication goes such a long way.
Yeah.
So when you start off and continue and end with words abbreviated 3 or 4 times down, and then you also don't even send a full sentence, cool, haha, sweet. So
then,
and it's like, what's the point? Like,
well, for me, I think texting should be more of like a tool and not take the place of a conversation. For me, conversation is either it's with another human being, like hearing their voice. So it's either over the phone or it's in person. And I don't like to rely on text to take the place of that, because I am the type where, and you know, because you've encountered this, where I'm like, yo, this is a lot of words that I don't want to read and that I don't want to write, because I already write plenty because I'm a poet. And like, no, we can talk about this in person. Yeah, but I also understand that people sometimes express themselves better through written word. So that can also be a thing, which then is something to figure out when you are communicating with that other person. Are they a good texter? Some people aren't. Do they prefer phone conversations? Some people don't, in which case they text. Or some people altogether are like, yo, I'm not trying to be on my phone like that. Do you want to link up? In which case, that's a different form of communicating.
Take that. If anyone ever actually communicates enough to say, bruh, phones, nah.
Yeah.
Face to face, yeah. You better go with the fucking flow and get that fucking tea date or coffee date or dinner date or movie date or all the fucking motherfucking above date and just fucking be about it, because we already live in a society, and tell me if you agree or not, where it's very easy to become either detached from someone or to not even really try to grow any connection. It's really easy for either of those things to happen.
I think it goes either way. It depends on like how you're handling it, right? So you can either grow super detached from someone because you're not building that actual real life human communication connection with them, or you can absolutely build like an idea of a person based off of like how they text and what words it is that they use and like how they finesse you and shit through text or like social media or something like that, and then you meet them in real life, because texting and social media is not real life. And then you meet them in real life and it's like, this is different.
And it could be different, not so pleasurable, not so enjoyable, but it could be different and you're a lot more offline from Facebook or Insta or whatever, and I'm liking it a lot more. This is great. It's pretty awesome.
So it still involves a human element to it regardless. But I think when it comes to text conversations, the intention is also important. Like if you're just hitting me up to like check in, like, yo, what time is this thing? Okay, we don't need a whole like conversation around that. You know what I mean? Or actually, no. You know what?
Hey,
I'm lying.
I'm at work now. I'm leaving at this time. Where are you at that point? When I'm at point B, where will you be when you reach point C?
Yeah.
And, you know, I get that's not all necessary, but I do understand and I agree where it's like, it depends on the mode, it depends on the reason. So for things like that, so for planning, so let's go in different modes. So for planning and events and just kind of getting together more than one person, would you say that full sentences are required? Would you say that a full idea should be explained at least enough to where you're not taking 10 minutes to figure out what's going on?
When planning? When like planning an event?
Yeah, when planning an event or a gathering or a meeting.
So if I am the sole planner, I am giving out details. I ain't asking for your input. I just want to know if you're coming or not. If it's a group thing though, like then that becomes a group text. When can we do this? And then eventually it becomes yo, this is what it is, and these are the details that I have so far, and that's it. I'm a good organizer, but you gotta work with me. So like if people aren't communicating nothing, they just get eliminated in the process of creating the thingy that we're planning together, really. But besides that, when it comes to planning, yeah, I think having something written down, so something text-wise, is important, and I think it's thoughtful for other people to have something already on their phone, something recorded.
No.
Something they can go back to.
No, mind you, she did say detail. So like, and a little scared. I personally get a little scared. Personally.
I would just be impressed.
Okay.
Like, that's cool.
Google's a little bit too intrusive, but whatever. So
yeah.
So in other modes, so we've got that down pat as far as planning and, you know, getting people together for gatherings and events. So as far as just casual conversation goes, how are you as far as that? Do you personally want full sentences responded back to you, sent back to you? What do you expect from people? Or again, does it really just matter on, or does it really just matter about the mode in which the reason of what you're communicating and the person, what you and that person want from each other?
Are you saying like, do the details matter depending on the person?
Well, do you, as far as full sentences go, and what you're expecting as far as the quality of the conversation? I love
full sentences because if we are texting back and forth, I love full sentences because it gives me something to think about. It gives me something to respond to, something to interact with. It gives me something. The one-word responses, and plus one-word responses can really come across as
completely uninterested.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you don't know the person, because it's text. You don't know the person's like tone of voice necessarily, the tone of the message. So sometimes it comes across as disinterested or annoyed or upset, or like it could come off any type of way, which also happens with social media too. When people write certain things and you're like, the fuck do you mean by that? Block. Don't even care about your explanation.
Cool. Yeah, it's about to be cool.
Yeah, right. Cool. But yeah, so but for me, my preference is if we are texting, full sentences are great. Full sentences are great, but I don't want paragraphs like that unless I ask for them. You know what I'm saying? Like if it can be, because again, if it can be an in-person conversation, then sweet. Yeah. If I'm asking you, see, here's the thing. All right, see,
Guilty.
We're getting into like the nitty-gritty of it. So for example, if I'm checking in on my best friend and I'm texting her and I'm like, hey, how was your weekend? Did anything happen? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. And she's like, yo, this one thing. And I'll be like, bruh, tell me everything.
What about the thing?
Because in that situation, it doesn't necessarily require me to respond, versus if she's like, you know, I need to talk about XYZ, then I'm definitely not going to do that in text. But if it's like telling me a story, like literally telling me a story, versus like you just want to talk to say a story unnecessarily, like that I ain't even ask you for, like, nah, B, chill.
Right.
That's violent. No, thank you.
I feel personally attacked now.
Oh,
personally attacked.
I did too.
My best friend, we actually have this thing where for actual emergencies, the first emergency my best friend and I actually ever have is fashion. So I could be seconds to literally walking in. The door could be open. The keys could be in my hand. But there's a mirror right outside my bedroom and between my bedroom and the front door. So, I can dress. It's never questionable. But I also love my friendships. And I value the inputs of my best friend. So we have coding, and she and I, we use specific code words for like, listen, I'm about to be out late. If anything happens, bam, bam, bam. These are these words, look out for. And like, that's just something we've always had for a few years now. Mm-hmm. But as far as like everyday text talk and lingo, our main emergencies or everyday emergencies are usually fashion. So I'll go, Marcel, emergency, open now. And it'll be like a picture of me like, this shoe or this food? Like, which one? Because I gotta go. I'm like late. I'm like, seriously. So, and then we usually come to the same consensus of, yes, I dressed myself well. I did a thing. I'm a big boy.
That's a texty thing,
I'm a big boy
now. That's a text thing.
It is a text thing.
See? So it definitely depends. But yeah, I don't like the ghosting thing. Especially when somebody initiates the text conversation with you and it's like, you about to be busy. Why are you responding 8 to 13 hours later?
Only to disappear again.
It's so odd.
It's freaking weird, man.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I mean, I have unlimited talk and text, but I still don't want you doing that to my inbox.
Don't waste my unlimited minutes.
Don't waste my unlimited data because you want to send me bad juju with your fucking lazy texting, starting something and never following through. It's like,
you know what's really odd to me? And this actually recently happened. It's like when someone doesn't respond to your text and then they text you and then you don't really respond to their text because it's not on the priority. It's not like, and they're like, hey, wondering if you got my text. It's like,
Some of y'all watching, y'all know damn well.
Interesting.
That's you.
Interesting.
It ain't cute.
Interesting.
It's never socially acceptable either.
Block caller. No, stop.
Bruh. I didn't expect that. None of this is planned. Whoa.
No, I kid.
But yeah, so we got down to details as far as, planning and stuff like that. You want to give in a timely manner. You want to be considerate of everyone else's schedule and in their lives as well. If you're planning events, especially with a group of people, those details, times, dates, landmarks, locations, etc.
Coordinates.
I just picture like a pirate now.
Yes!
With a map and he's lost.
Because you need to know where you're going if you're trying to get to the booty.
Oh, hey-oh! Yeah.
What about when you are
also quick thing.
Yeah.
Group texting. Never be afraid of it. Because I tell my friends, I put that shit on silent.
I hate group
Y'all
text.
can go off as much as you want, and I will never be mad at the group friendship, but I don't necessarily have to be there for every part of it. And someone can also send a side message to me alone and be like, hey, check the group, we're planning something. Boom. There's a reason to go into the group chat that you silenced because it was pissing you off and trying to get you fired at work. It's a thing. You can silence a group chat. It's never a bad thing to be a part of one. It's always possible to put that on mute and go about your business. That's just my personal opinion.
Always bad to be part of one.
That's her personal opinion.
No, I'm kidding. But for the most part, group chats start with a purpose. And then it just dismantles and implodes
Also,
from
super
there.
duper true.
And then somebody is talking to one other person in there when there are a smorgasbord of other people there. And it's like, y'all can't do this on your own time in your own message? Why am I getting 38 notifications about some shit that has nothing to do with me? I'm not interested in. I'm being roped into something I don't want to be a part of. And I gotta check my phone because I've been conditioned to check my phone. And this is what y'all want to do to me?
America.
Wow, right. America. No. No, I don't want it. I don't want it. I have removed myself from plenty of group chats. I don't care if it's not about the original thing and it's not to the group. It's not a group chat anymore. I'm just sitting. It's like sitting in a room, right, of like 8 people and only 2 of y'all are talking to each other. You wouldn't like that shit.
Oh my
Stop
God.
playing. Ew. No. Stay focused. Or remove me, or have the conversation elsewhere.
3 weeks later, you chime in and they're like getting fucking engaged and shit. Like,
yeah, right. Right. I am definitely the person in like group chats who'll like come through 2 weeks later and be like, yo, so what happened? It's about to be like, we discussed that like 8 days ago. Be like, well, if y'all stayed on track.
Well, yeah, all those extra messages.
I'd be right there on the train with you. But
I got lost.
Here we are, 12,000 text messages later.
Just so much to week.
No, and I wasn't going to. I wasn't going to. You're making extra work for me.
I feel that.
And I don't want it.
I feel that.
I don't want it at all. So.
No. I'm open-minded. I feel that.
I don't like group text messages at all. At all. Because they always go off course. Always. And then the thing is, we're talking about different ways that people text.
Where should I go bowling? Who know where to get these Nikes half off?
No.
Like
No. Irrelevant. I don't care where you get your Nikes. They all come from sweatshops. Chill.
Oh. Taking a turn.
But we were also talking earlier about the ways that people text too, and it's like even then, that's annoying as shit to me.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. I don't want it. I don't want to.
Or those people who like send a succession of like short message after short message after short message after short message. Wow. So I was already going to put myself out there, but in case you didn't know, she was full throttle there to help me.
The stretch.
I'm one of them. That came out. I'm one of them. And usually, I know the way I apply that method is some people, so also if you're one of these people, it may be why some people do that, to your inbox and you feel like you're personally attacked. If you don't respond often enough or timely enough, and I'm not saying this is you at all, I just do it because I just like to be annoying sometimes. That's just me.
And again, this is where I come through with this is a lot and I'm not going to respond, so we're going to be talking in person. Okay, bye. You can talk it to the void.
They good thumb workout. But some people they don't respond either enough or in timely enough ways. So some people do that for that reason, to get noticed.
Or if it's one of my best friends, then I'm definitely gonna harass them if they're not responding to me because I feel entitled to their attention.
Also fairly valid.
And they feel the same way to me. So, and that's fine. And that's a mutual understanding between us that like if you don't respond, like, oh, you gonna get these messages.
Yeah.
Like one of my best friends likes to hit me up on multiple platforms.
I was just gonna.
So I will get a text, I'll get a tweet, I will get
snap,
a Facebook message, I will get a Hangouts message. Hangouts, bruh. I will get a message on IG. I'll get a comment on IG. And it'll all be like, hey friend, hey friend, hey friend, hey friend. I'm like, oh my God. I hate you with all of my heart.
What I do, I usually text blast. But when that either doesn't work or I just feel spontaneous and like super energetic, I'll Facebook and then I'll Instagram and I'll snap up. Oh, gotta use. You might get a bunch of random ass videos that mean absolutely nothing. And I'm talking all to myself, but in your phone. It's great. It's so much fun. It's fun.
And you can tell when they've seen it.
Yeah.
So then if they haven't, you just keep sending more.
But then that's usually, as she said, best friendships. Like, I really wouldn't recommend that, especially if someone a friend you just met or like someone you're trying to get closer to. These are relationships where text blasts and multimedia blasts.
Yeah.
A certain level of comfort, a certain established closeness there.
Right.
But I do also, before we end this video, I want to get on the topic of specifically electronic communication when dating.
Dating or in a relationship? Because some people use those interchangeably.
Dating, definitely.
Like
dating.
getting to know
Getting
someone,
to know
going on dates here and there. Cool. Or as some of us call it, talking to someone.
Oh.
Yeah.
The kids say that.
Oh, we talking.
The kids say.
It's lit.
Very luminous in here, as you can see.
I'm just pale skinned.
Get over it. I'm tired of you. So, when dating, in general, I never, ever, 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 forever never appreciate a succession of super simplified texts. Oh, alliteration. Succession of super simplified texts.
That was nice.
Say that like 20 million times faster.
I can't.
I don't want to. But yeah, no, I personally feel and believe if you are trying to get to know someone, if the intention is very sincere and you really do want to get to know someone, again, there's energy that needs to be implied. There's energy that has to be shown. So while again, not looking for full paragraphs, not looking for stories in every message or even every other message, but a full sentence can be anywhere between 4 to 6 words. It's not even that crazy. Just show the person that you acknowledge what they said. Maybe even a bit after that. So for example, someone texts me, "Hey, you free later?" "Oh yeah, sure I am." And then add on to that, "Did you have anything in mind?" So if the person's shy as well, that helps them out. It kind of coaxes them to be like, well, since they opened the door and asked me if I did have anything in mind, either they do or maybe they might find something to plan or do for the both of you. But
Word.
I really believe that, again, if the intent really is sincerely to get to know someone and to be about them, kind of show it. If the communication, if that mode is going to be electronic, then you have to kind of go that little extra mile to step outside of LOL, TTYL, BRB. You gotta, if you're long distance or you already don't see each other that often, and again, the mode's going to be electronic communication, you gotta put in that little That's where I'm at. We
have like literally everything. We have the text, we have the phone call, we have FaceTime, we have FaceTime. Like there's, I don't know. Okay, so I'm really big on communication, period. For me, that doesn't necessarily mean texts and stuff. What it means is that if you are trying to get in contact with me and I am busy, I will communicate to you that I am busy. Like that sort of thing. Which I think is like energy. the biggest lack in when it comes to electronic communication, where people are like, "Oh, if you text, then that means it's something casual and it's something that's not rushed." It's like, no, you can still communicate to the person, "Yo, I'm busy," or "Yo, I'm not good at texting," or "I'll get back to you later," or anything like that. And also like a sense of accountability, like, "Hey, I didn't respond to your text from 3 weeks ago. My bad. We could talk," or we could do it. Yeah, being self-aware. So being self-aware, communicating. And meaning outside of like the text and the phone and the social media, like communicating through that, what it is that's going on with you and how it is that you best communicate. When it comes to dating, my expectations, because I have my lady love now, my expectations were, they still are, to have that sort of sense of communication where if we are texting each other back and forth, there's no pressure to continue that conversation because we have already communicated, I'm at work, I have this to do, or something like that, or I will talk to you at this point in time where I can actually give you that attention and that energy. Which takes all but like 10 seconds to text somebody, "Yo, busy right now, but I can hit you up at this time." That's it. And I definitely expect the phone calls because phone calls are nice. And phone calls also can do a lot more work than a text can, at least for me. Because you could just get a lot more out in a shorter period of time. And I'm for me and my personality type, I'm just very direct and to the point. So it's like, if we can get it done with a phone call, let's get it done with a phone call. And I think it's much more considerate in the fact that we are super reliant, I think. We are super reliant on text and on social media where everything is like written and you're not actually hearing another person or conversing back and forth with them. or listening to them. So I think a phone call is much more intimate if technology needs to be involved. Phone call or FaceTiming.
Actually, a few people told me text is the worst form of communication. Buddha didn't say it, Gandhi didn't say it, but it sounds like some shit a deep person would say because it's very freaking real. Text is the absolute worst form of communication. Because as you mentioned earlier, you can't hear a voice, and there's no tonnage, there's no way to say or hear, the person is really, their energy's low today, or geez, like, well, they're not feeling me. Let me just let them go and maybe text them later and say, hey, it sounded like you were a little off today, I don't want to bother you. But point being, it is the worst form because with a voice, you get emotion. With a text, you're literally just reading words. It may as well be an email, a super informal email. So that phone call method, because believe it or not, the phone, that's what that thing is meant to do. That's actually what it was made for. Oh shit. Bruh.
Weird.
Yeah. Shit is deep. They were meant to call and for people to receive calls, and then for two or more persons to share their voices vocally.
Bizarre. Somebody, a comedian,
Crazy.
had made a joke about the fact that we got away from writing letters to each other because the phone was then developed so we could make phone calls to each other, to then go back to fucking writing letters to each other, but in stupider forms known as text. So, there's that.
I can literally text my best friend right now, absolutely shit, and while it would mean everything to her because it's my best friend, it wouldn't mean shit. Like, it's generally meaningless because it's just so instant and it's just very informal. But yeah, so if your bill is paid and you got either unlimited talk or I don't even know if they do minutes anymore. Is minutes a thing?
I hope not.
But if
that shit was trash.
Whatever works. But if you got a phone that calls and it's in the mode of also an emergency, or perhaps text didn't go through, signal. I've met people to where if a signal is down or bad and this text didn't go through, they didn't even consider calling. And I kind of looked at them like,
right, yo, there is that too.
Are you okay? Like, are you feeling well? You do know your phone does a bit more than tweet and text.
What's bizarre to me too is when people are like rushing or something
and
they're texting you. Or there is like an emergency and they're texting. Why are you not calling?
Hold on, my wife's giving birth. Let me just texting her mom.
What?
Like, what?
Hey, I think I broke my leg. Wow, there's a lot of blood. Why the fuck are you like calling first of all 911 and then yo, okay.
Blood everywhere.
Not gonna lie. After I got into this car accident, I totally took a selfie with a quick brace when I was at the hospital, and my caption was like, "Mondays, am I right?"
Kind of genius. So I'm not mad. Personally, she was already safe in the hospital, so I'm not mad.
I was already cool. I did not selfie at the car accident.
Ambulance showing up. Wait. You cut it off. Like, no. Just pick up your phone and call that loved one, or call that soon-to-be dear special person. Or just call your friend and be like, hey best friend, love you, because hey best friend, I do love you.
Aww.
But with that being said, your final thoughts on communication in general?
We don't have enough of it. We don't have enough self-aware people. So work on being self-aware and finding out what your best way of communicating is. Express that to other people, and then kind of go from there. You know what I mean? You will find your communication people out there, one way or another. And to also be considerate of the way that other people communicate, because we don't all communicate the same way at all. Bling.
What she said. This is exactly why I had her here for the first episode of Gift of Gab, here with Bobbin Robin on channel Bobbin Robin Entertainment. Thank you for watching again, Gift of Gab. My name is Tevyn.
My name is Zulynette.
See you soon.